Hi everyone, welcome to the April garden tour. In my opinion, April is one of the most beautiful times in my garden, so we're in for a treat today. I'm really excited to show you because the lilac is blooming. We also have delphinium that's just about to open up, and I have been saving this. It's the Amaryllis, the one that I planted back in February of 2024. It's about to burst open, so I'm going to show you that today also. Now, the first area that I want to show you is the lilac, which is currently in bloom right next to the azalea and a little peony plant. This is the Sensation lilac. I absolutely love the purple colored blooms and kind of like the white edges around it. I wish I could give you the smell of the lilac. It's absolutely beautiful. This here is my Carl Rosenfeld peony. It's kind of like what I would call marble stage right now, and I feel like it's been in marble stage for such a long time. I want to say it's been like a week, but as you can see, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7 blooms this year, which is the most that I've ever had. This peony is about 5 to 6 years old now. The ones next to it are just 3 years old. I have 2 bulbs planted super close together, so it all looks like one plant, but it's actually 2. And the peony next to that, which is kind of covered by the red rose, the Myrtle Gentry peony. Something that I do want to point out is notice how on this Myrtle Gentry peony, it kind of branches, like it has a lot of blooms on one. If you're growing peonies for cut flowers, that's actually not ideal. So it looks like the Carl Rosenfeld might be your choice if you want to grow peonies as a cut flower, because I think like florists, I've heard, always want to like cut off the side shoots. So the Carl Rosenfeld is like a nice sturdy 1 peony flower per 1 stem type of flower, whereas Myrtle Gentry has multiple on one. So let's pretend I want to sell this to a florist. I would basically have to come through here and cut this, this, and this. But if I want to leave it in my garden, then it's kind of perfect. The next area that I'm really excited to show you are going to be the roses and the crossvine, trumpet vine, and birdbath area. Now, in this area, if you remember from the March garden tour, the African daisy was in full bloom. It looked absolutely beautiful. It is kind of on its way out now, so what I've kind of been working on doing is adding kind of more like a summer interest in here. You'll notice right there I did plant a cone flower. Now, this is a really special type of cone flower called I believe it's called Cheyenne Spirit. And what's really special about this one is it actually has multiple different color blooms on one plant, which I don't think I've ever seen in a plant before. So right now we have like an orangish one, maybe a reddish one. So hoping to get a lot of different colors on here, a lot of different variety. We have like this apricot colored rose. I don't know the name of this one, but it's very beautiful. And the way that this rose blooms, it has like multiple roses on one stem typically. So they are very beautiful. Next we have the orange crossvine and the purple trumpet vine. The purple trumpet vine just opened a few days ago, and the crossvine is kind of on its way out now. We also have a couple of peonies tucked in here. I believe that one's Sarah Bernhardt, and the next one over is the sorbet, or the bowl of beauty. That one's the bowl of beauty. Now I'll kind of come over here and show you close-ups of all the roses. I love this one. It's like a very orangish pink color. Here's one that's a little bit more open. Next we have the red rose. I don't know the names of these. These were planted a really long time ago, but this one here is always the first to bloom. You can see that it's kind of on its way out now. I'll make sure to instill some footage of when it was very beautiful and blooming profusely. Let's try to find a good one in here. There has to be a good one. gosh, as I'm filming, the ducks came. Now we have had baby ducks in the pool a few years ago. I wonder if we'll get baby ducks this year. I do think that they might have a nest in my neighbor's yard because they come here like every single day. But we do have a very beautiful red rose and the Amaryllis, which is about to bloom. It's about to burst open. This is an Amaryllis plant that I planted, I believe, in February of 2024, and I did really worry that it wouldn't overwinter well here in my zone, and as you can see, it did. I didn't really do anything special during the winter when we had frost. All I did was kind of come through and like put some leaves around the base of the plant, because you can see most of it is covered. However, the neck is exposed, so I was a little bit worried that maybe the frost would kill it, but luckily it didn't, and it's here and it's back and about to bloom. And right next door we have two other plants. This one is about to bloom, but the one next to it is not. If I had to guess, it would probably be because this one doesn't exactly get as much sunlight. This next rose is so beautiful and so huge. If you look, these blooms are like bigger than my hand. Like, that is crazy. It's so crazy how big they get. The next rose over is the pink rose. I, again, don't really know the name of it, but I would say that this one is my favorite rose here in the garden. That's kind of an older bloom. Looks like there's a couple of newer blooms. But yeah, if I had to pick a favorite, it would be this one. I think it's because this one has so many petals. It's kind of like I want to say like almost a peony form. And the next one is actually the newest one in my garden. This one has only been here, I want to say, since like 2019, maybe about 5-6 years. But as you can see, this one kind of has like a yellow center with pink on the outside. And there go the ducks. So as you can see, the mandarin tree is putting on blooms already for next year. So hopefully we'll have some mandarins. And this clematis, it's a pink one. I forget the exact name of it. If I find it, I'll add it onto the screen. But this clematis has been growing here for several years now. There were many years when I thought that I lost it, but every single year it does come back. Now, clematis likes to have shaded roots and like the rest of it exposed to sun. So I think that now this clematis is very happy here, especially considering that its roots are shaded by the mandarin tree. I used to have very beautiful daffodils here, rose cloud or rosy cloud. They're out, but luckily the iris is about to bloom. I want to say this is the iris that is called Chasing Rainbows, a very beautiful variety. Here in this area I have like my red, yellow, and orange toned iris. Later on in the video I'm going to show you my purple toned iris, which are currently in bloom. Those I planted more recent. And we also have foxglove. This foxglove is looking so good and so healthy. And these ones here are also foxglove, but I had just planted these out, I want to say like a week ago, so they're really not anywhere near where these are. And I actually was recently at Home Depot and a local nursery. They do have foxglove for sale. I don't know why, but I never seen foxglove for sale at the store. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention to it. Maybe I just missed it or was always at the nursery at the wrong time. But yeah, I finally saw it, and it gets quite pricey, so I was very happy that I already have some planted in my garden that I started from seed. Next we have a geranium. Something that I really like about this one are the leaves. I do like that it has a little bit of a purple tone in the leaves. And this geranium, I want to say that I started this from a propagation. So it used to be like this teeny tiny plant, and now it's gotten so big. And here we have some of my favorite, but some of the most underrated flowers, violas or pansies. They're in this container along with the marigold and a couple of zinnias, 3 zinnias. And something I actually forgot to mention earlier is that the cottonwood trees are kind of putting out like their seed, or so it kind of at times looks like it's snowing. It's not right now, but maybe I'll insert some footage of the cottonwood trees letting off that puff, but it gets all over the backyard. It's all over the plants, it's everywhere. And that's because of these beautiful cottonwood trees. All right, now we're off to the container area of the garden. And as you can see, this hydrangea is getting ready to bloom. Make sure to come back for the May garden tour. We'll be able to see this hydrangea blooming. I want to say that I actually purchased this one on clearance for like $7-8 years and years ago from Lowe's. So if you see a hydrangea at Lowe's that doesn't really look like it's doing so well, it might look like this in a few years, so definitely purchase it. This here is a hydrangea that I propagated. If you guys are interested in how I propagate hydrangeas, let me know in the comments section below and I'll make sure to make a video. But I actually had 2. This one died, whereas this one is doing so well and so amazing. So very happy about that. Some ranunculus. And then this one right here is a hydrangea that I propagated about 2 or 3 years ago now, and I just realized just today that it's gonna have a bloom on it. So make sure to come back for the May garden tour. Some more pansies with a dahlia. Again, I think these are the most underrated flowers. Now this is a hydrangea that used to be right next to my lilac, and it really wasn't doing well there because it got too much sun. So I went ahead and took it out of the ground there. For a while I was worried that it wouldn't come back, but it's here, and it doesn't really look like it's gonna have blooms this year, but I'm sure in a year it'll recover. Here I have some more dahlias, some sunflowers, some pansies. And next is one of the parts of the garden that I'm actually the most excited about. These are the delphiniums. As you can see, they're not quite flowering yet, but they are about to flower. This one used to be kind of standing upright, but then it kind of slouched over, which is okay. So I have 3 delphinium plants that I started from seed back in November that are about to flower. I'll definitely make sure to get footage of that. And here in my containers I have lilies, pansies, one tomato plant, and this one right here is probably the most interesting. This is my Ito peony, and this one I believe is the pink variety called Cora Luis. So as soon as this one opens up, I'll definitely make sure to get that on film. Some pansies that were planted from seed. All of the pansies in my garden, they are all from seed. There's none that I like bought in the store and planted up. This is some cilantro that self-seeded along with some dahlias. I forget what kind these are. Tyrell dahlia. So come back in a month or 2. We'll have dahlias. The lilies are doing amazing. These are lilies that I actually potted up, I think last spring, so this is going to be their 2nd time blooming. And I have a few different varieties of lilies in here. I have some Asiatic varieties, which I believe are going to be first to bloom. And then I also have some Oriental lilies. Now this is a tomato plant called Sun Sugar. I bought this one at Costco in a set of 3. I've already planted one. I still need to plant the other 2. And in here we have lilies, we have a dahlia, and we have some gladioli. The lilies are looking really good. And then we have some more pansies. I want to say that this one here is a variety called Antique Shades. There aren't that many of them though, and I'm not really sure how this happened, but it looks like, I don't know, this must be the Antique Shades variety actually, because I do remember planting it. It looks like maybe some of the frizzle sizzle some of the frizzle sizzle tapestry mix did get mixed in also. But I absolutely love pansies. They're actually edible flowers. They're so low maintenance. Some other things that I have growing here in this container, I forget what it's called. I believe it's called like the green stock garden. There's a little cosmos plant in there. Some lupin that I planted recently. I was actually just at Home Depot and they had such beautiful lupin. I was very tempted to buy it, but then I was like, why would I buy it when I have 2 of my own? Now these probably won't flower this coming year, but hopefully they'll flower like in year 2 and 3. What's really interesting is that I planted this delphinium at the exact same time, and also this delphinium, all these delphiniums were planted at literally the exact same time, but some of them went on to become such strong plants, and some of them just kind of went on to not really do much. Like for example, this one also here, I forget what I planted, but I'm very excited to see what that is. Something I planted from seed. I just rotated my green stock a little bit. We have another tomato plant, some more delphinium. I think that's a weed that I need to pull. These I'm actually very excited for. These are tuberoses, and tuberoses have the most amazing scent. They're gonna flower sometime in September, so very much so looking forward to these. All right, so we'll start with this hanging basket. I have some succulents planted in here that I just purchased from Costco sometime in the fall. And this hummingbird was actually a gift from my sister. My niece picked it out because she absolutely loves rainbows, and my sister said as soon as she saw this, she picked it for me for my birthday. All right, so here we have some more violas, also known as pansies. This container also had hyacinths in it. You can see that they are on their way out. And I believe I said this in the March garden tour. I 100% recommend you plant pansies along with your spring bulbs, because as soon as the spring bulbs are out, like this would have been such a boring and dead container, but the pansies just bring so much life to it. We have an Amaryllis plant that used to stand on my fireplace actually during the Christmas time. They're like these very beautiful red Amaryllis. I believe they're called Ann Seaton. The sunlight just highlights these pansies so perfectly now. Right next to the pansies, we have the Garden of Eden climbing rose. It's been here for years, and it usually only puts on blooms in April. I think it's because it's kind of unhappy in this container. I don't think it gets enough room, but it's actually looking pretty happy this year, or more happy than in years past. There it is, the Garden of Eden climbing rose. I think this is a very popular variety. I believe I got this one at a local nursery, but I'm excited for more blooms. I think people love this one because it just has so many petals. Look at all these petals. It's kind of peony-like. Now, the next part of the garden, we have a ton of geraniums, and I know that geraniums are not like a very fun or exciting plant, but I absolutely love the color that they bring, especially when almost nothing else is blooming in the garden. This red one is an ivy geranium, and it's growing with my yellow hibiscus. The yellow hibiscus kind of has like a red center, so when the yellow hibiscus comes on, It looks so good with the red geranium in it. Now this here is my blue girl rose. It was just blooming a few weeks ago. I'll have to insert some photos, but we are gonna get some more blooms. Something that's really interesting, I had some larkspur seeds that I kind of just threw out and hope for the best. And as you can see, we have a larkspur that's about to bloom here. I literally just came through here with some larkspur seeds in the winter and just dispersed them, so luckily one of them took. We have the red hibiscus, which is starting to come back to life, and a couple of amaryllis plants and the Scilla peruviana, which is on its way out. But as soon as it dies back, I do have some rudbeckia planted in that same container, and I think some random seeds just kind of like self-seeded. I see Love in a Mist that just self-seeded on its own. I forget the name of this amaryllis, but it's like a pink variety, a pink double variety. And this one here, I believe, is the Red Lion. This might have been the very first amaryllis I ever purchased. And it's just been out here all winter. It didn't actually rebloom this year, but hopefully the leaves will absorb some sun and it'll rebloom for us next year. And as you can see, there is some larkspur that I just kind of threw in some seeds and hope for the best, and we did get some larkspur in this container with this rose. And the other hanging basket. The Bougainvillea is starting to come a lot more alive than it was looking in March. You notice now we have a ton of flowers, some greens, but I will say that the Bougainvillea looks the best in May, so make sure to come back for the May garden tour. And I have that potted up with some lavender and another plant of Bougainvillea, so then the Bougainvillea kind of just takes over the entire fence area. This used to be kind of like a boring area. My grandma would sometimes plant tomatoes here, but I really wanted something that would cover the fence, and the Bougainvillea does a perfect job of that. The Bougainvillea, I would say, is one of my absolute favorite plants of all time. Next to there is the blue potato bush. I believe that's the jade plant, and my pink hibiscus. And there's a ton of daffodils planted below these bushes. I planted this one super late. I think it was just a variety that I got at Costco on clearance for like $7 for 25 bulbs. So it's really nice to see that it actually bloomed, considering I just planted it in February. And I'm very happy to report that my iris did finally bloom. I think in the March garden tour it was just starting to put on its stalk. But here you can see that they are blooming. I do have 3 or 4 different types of varieties in here. This one here is called Speeding Again. You can see that it has like purplish blue, petals with some white on the inside. And then this one, it's a real treat because it actually just bloomed today. I believe this one is called like Ozark Rebounder, and it's like this really, really deep dark purple color, almost black. I recently purchased this birdhouse at a local flower shop. And I really like it because a lot of the birdhouses that I was looking at were made out of like metal or kind of like synthetic materials, but I really love that this one was made out of like moss and branches. We haven't exactly had any birds come by, but I will report to you if they do. That's the goal. If anybody has any tips, or if you want to give me some advice about how to attract birds to my birdhouse, I'll take it. I do already have a bird bath. And while we're here, the apricot tree has little apricots on it. Next, I'll show you all the different hellebores I have in my garden. They are definitely on their way out now. These have definitely turned a lot more green, and I actually think that's true for all the hellebores. When the flowers first start blooming, they're kind of like this white color, and as soon as they start like going on their way out, they become like this green color. I don't really know what this is on this flower. Maybe like seed pods. And the camellias have finally dropped. So I ended up having 2 blooms on this one. I think in my March garden tour, I thought I had 1, but I ended up having 2. And then we have this hellebore that got mowed over by the lawnmower, but luckily it's making its way back, and I've now put rocks around it so that it doesn't get mowed over by the lawnmower again. So this here is another hellebore that was white and turned green as it's getting older, or I guess I should say as the flowers get older. They become like this green color, and they've been here for actually a really long time. Like, hellebores bloom for so long. Then we have a camellia, another hellebore that's also turning green, and another hellebore. I believe this one has red flowers on it. I also have a whole cutting garden that I'll just quickly show you. Straw flowers, Rudbeckia, Dara, Sweet William, some cosmos, some yarrow, some marigolds, larkspur, ami, foxgloves, tomatoes, and cosmos and delphinium. So if you want to see more, make sure to check out my cut flower garden tour video. And yeah.